The views and opinions expressed by the hosts of this podcast are solely of their own and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of their employees, affiliates, sponsors, or any other entities associated with them. The content provided in this podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to independently verify any information discussed and consult with their appropriate professionals and advice tailored to their specific circumstances. Now enjoy the podcast.
Almost like for most people in the political race, like you can't be a Republican and even show that you have a slight bit of a Democratic view, because then it's like, whoa, is that person switching sides? Are you actually a Republican or no?
Yeah, that's where you get all that. Well, you're a hypocrite, and it's like, well, no, you can't. You can agree with pieces of both things and implement them into yourself as a being. If the intent was to stir the pot, so to speak, that's a great way to do it, and you're gonna get the results of now people are, well, did you hear about Beyonce's song? Did you hear about this? Did you hear about this? So now you've got more people coming in, more clicks, more engagement, and that's how you get up to the top.
Welcome to That's On That podcast, where we navigate the twists and turns of this unpredictable journey and are inviting you to join us in candid conversations, heartfelt reflections, and even a few laughs along the way. I'm Leo, your co-host, and I'm here with Bree. Let's get to the podcast.
Hey.
Hello, how are we today?
I'm good, how are you?
How are you feeling?
Alive. I'm alive. Not bad.
Yeah,
not bad.
That is the first step to this whole thing.
Yes, so, that's a crucial, what's the word? I don't know. It's gone from my brain. Either way, that's important for this. Story of my life. Anyhow, what you got cooking? What's going on? What are we deep diving into?
Yeah. I want to talk about what I think is like a bandwagon effect. You know what I mean by like bandwagon?
I have like a working idea, but re-educate me on this.
So I feel like a lot of times people talk about bandwagons and they're talking about like sports teams. Like, for example, the Chicago Cubs didn't win a World Series for like 100 years. And as soon as they won, everyone in the world became Cubs fans. Yeah. Like recently we saw the Taylor Swift thing where her and Travis Kelce became a thing, and all of a sudden a bunch of people who had no clue what football was or that it existed became Kansas City Chiefs fans.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably, I mean, I haven't looked at the statistics or metrics of it or anything, but I'm pretty sure that's probably the most watched Super Bowl game in history. But
it's pretty cool to see like the worlds collide, and all of that. Like, that's not a bad thing at all. But like it happens in politics. Like politics is big on this. Like, we all have our Apple Android alliances to where like we have no real reason on why we're on a team. Maybe it's cool, or we feel like we're supposed to be, or it's something I've just been doing my entire life. So like we have these like allegiances to bandwagons that like have no reason, Yeah. Would you agree or disagree? Like, have you seen this like in any other senses?
Yeah, I mean, so I've seen it in, I think this is, it's definitely a huge psychological thing that we do in society. It's very much like a sociological kind of mindfuck, if you will, that we just kind of do, oftentimes likely subconsciously. Like, this is not anything that we are intentionally really doing. It's just, it's kind of the nature of the beast with the way it is, and there's manipulation and things like that in politics. People make big grand gestures just to kind of get the attention, and then everybody's kind of in on it. So that's something that I've noticed a lot with that. And the other thing, like on a more real, like more inner circle kind of level, is when you've got people like that I know that I work with that go on these crazy like diets, because that's a big one. Crazy diets and fad diets and things like that. That it's because, well, that's what this person's doing and it works, and that's what everyone's doing, and and it works, and then they do it for like 2 weeks and then they're back to old eating habits. And it's like, hey, what happened with that vegetarianism thing that you were doing? Like, why did that change? Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Did it change?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
like
it's like,
yeah.
so were you now? I'm like, were you what
Were you actually?
what was happening?
Yeah.
And,
No,
and
that's
people do that all the time. I've been guilty of it myself because, I mean, who doesn't want to try something that people are saying works? When in all reality, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes a lot of people are just saying that things work just to say that they work, just to get people's attention, get people riled up, get people engaged in doing the thing. And they really don't have any vested interest in it. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on it. I don't know how far off I am from
yeah.
your
No. You made me start to like think about religion too, because like the eating habits is something that's so important to you. Lobo wants to say hi. You see his little nosy.
Hi.
The eating habits that people have are so important to them. Same thing with religion, and it happens to where you may actually change your mind. Like that's a point like that we haven't talked about yet, but like you may actually change your mind, and it's okay to change your mind too. You've been exposed to a new religion that is more beneficial or makes more sense to you. You can change your mind. You're exposed to a new diet plan that actually works for your body. It is okay for you to change your mind. It's okay for you to jump into it wholehearterdly.
Yes. Just do your research first.
Do your research. There's people like I'm thinking about this further, and like there's people that were atheists before that are Christians or vice versa because of whether it's an event or whatever, but they're passionate about it, but they're fully into the other thing and not like, okay, I'm going to be an atheist because of this point, only on this point, and then the rest of it, I'm going to be a Christian. Like those two things don't go together.
Right.
Yeah. Almost like for most people in the political race, like you can't be a Republican and even show that you have a slight bit of a Democratic view, because then it's like, whoa, is that person switching sides? Are you actually a Republican or no?
Yeah, that's where you get all that. Well, you're a hypocrite, and it's like, well, no, you can't. You can agree with pieces of both things and implement them into yourself as a being. You don't have to pick sides. Nobody says you have to, except for these random societal structures that we've put into place, these bandwagons, if you will, that force you to. Otherwise, it's not normal. It's not right. And I don't know. I try and steer clear away from that. That's generally why I'm kind of aloof when it comes to a lot of topics about, especially like religion and politics. Granted, there's like family trauma history to all of that, which can be a total later conversation, but I remain pretty aloof because it's like, I take bits from each side so I can go either way, and remaining neutral isn't a bad thing.
It's not the right spot to be in either.
It's not always a great spot to be in. So it's like,
all the enemies.
I pick my battles, and that's not a battle that I want to die for.
Yeah.
So
I started to think about this in the role of the world of art. Okay.
Okay.
And art can be like poetry, because some people like certain types of poetry. It can be in the world of specifically rap. Some people like certain types of rap. Like I get a lot of flack because I like Eminem, and people are like, no, he's an awful rapper. I'm like, he's a fantastic lyricist. I love lyricists, and that's what I prioritize as rap.
Yes.
And it could just span over so many things. So most recently, and the reason that this topic has come up is because Beyonce has produced, and granted, this may not be the first time. Okay, I'm going to put that out there. Also, let me throw some prefaces down. Okay, I am a fan of Beyonce. I am a fan of country music, and I like multiple genres. And I think that we just talked about it. People should span over both. Like I have probably one of the most vast of the majority of people like music taste. Okay.
You do.
But Beyonce,
you absolutely do.
Thank you. But Beyonce has come out with a country song. Okay. Self-proclaimed, as well as like I think that the populace is claiming it's a country song because it just hit #1 on Billboard for I think it's R&B and country music, so it's on both of those as #1. So it's in 2 different genres as well.
Interesting.
Yep. There are only there's only 4, I think, people who have done this. Okay. One of them being one of my favorite artists, which I thought this was interesting, of me, Justin Bieber.
Okay.
Justin Bieber has been on there.
What genres did he do that
multiple times? No, specifically country and R&B.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, been top of the charts for both of those at the same time. Okay. There's Ray Charles. Okay. Which there's some history to that. There is Billy Ray Cyrus, and there is one more person that I'm blanking on. I will figure that out in a second. But there's one more person that has accomplished this. Okay, so four people have done what's happening right now. My issue, I guess, to get to the point, my issue is that, and this is both sides, people who like country music, and I want your take on this. People who like country music do not want to hear Beyonce as a country artist, don't want to hear her on country music radio, don't want her number one on the charts for country music. People who like country music do not want Beyonce considered in their category. If she makes a country song or not, they do not want Beyonce in their category. There's also like elements to this because typically people who really like country music do not like R&B or rap.
Right. Generally.
And people who like R&B and rap don't like country music.
Country fans.
So right now, there's a massive collide of bandwagons on, or maybe hypocrisy. I guess that's actually a word.
Yeah.
Hypocrisy, because if Beyonce makes a country song and it's good, should it be played on country radio?
I mean, I don't see why not.
Mm-hmm.
But understand that if you do that, you're probably going to get a lot of heat, which I'm sure she's feeling, which Biebs has probably felt before. I don't know. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to like music top hits. I'm terrible at like the music trivia game, and I and my ADHD am I hyperfixate on music. So I rely on friends like you who are well involved in the music goings on to tell me what is good to listen to next. Okay. But so back to your question, I don't see why it shouldn't be considered a country song. I have heard it, and it sounds like every other poppy country song that has come out in the last 5-10 years. Like I will give it country in that in traditional country music, it tells a story.
Yeah.
Most often, right? And that's one thing that I like about country music when I get into it. It tells the story. She has a little bit of that, but it's still very repetitive, very poppy, very like it's got a vibe to it with some twang.
Yes.
So, but there's a little hint of storytelling. It's like a little nudge of it. And it's like, well, so I can like kind of give that. Yeah. I can see it's like an E for effort thing.
Okay.
Not to sound like harsh. It's just like, I see the effort. You can tell. It's not just like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's just some pop star that wants to get into country and make that big clash of the clans of music people. Yeah. Although it might be because bandwagon effect would indicate or also like explain exactly why what's happened has happened. Right? Because if the intent was to stir the pot, so to speak, that's a great way to do it. And you're going to get the results of now people are, well, did you hear about Beyonce's song? Did you hear about this? Did you hear about this? So now you've got more people coming in, more clicks, more engagement. Yeah. And that's how you get up to the top.
Yeah. Are you a Morgan Wallen fan?
I have heard a few of his songs.
Okay.
I am serious. I'm terrible at this. I've heard a few of his songs.
You know who Nick D is, and that's about it.
I don't dislike them, but they're really just they remind me of like hip hop, R&B style. Like it's very poppy music.
Interesting. Okay.
Some of the ones
he is
that I've listened
a country
to,
artist.
But he is a country music star.
He is a full-on, and he is the fourth person that I was forgetting.
Aha!
Has topped both charts.
Yeah. Well, that explains why I say that about what I've listened to, because he's topped both charts. So,
but
he's obviously
people would consider him fully. There is no if, ands, or but about it. Fully a country artist.
Well, he initially came out as a country music artist.
He is a country artist, yeah.
And I mean, like, he is, but he's also dabbling in the other world.
Right.
So to speak. So
to speak.
Like,
yeah.
Like, he started as country.
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce started as, what, hip-hop, R&B?
Yeah.
Right. That's where she started.
So
getting that transition over is...
Yeah. So I'm not mad at the artist whatsoever, because the artist's job is to make music.
Right.
What I'm confused and perplexed by, because, I mean, we're talking about biggest artist in the world right now, Taylor Swift, was a country music artist, and she is not that right now, and she is doing just fine. There has been, people complain a little bit because she's not the old Taylor Swift. So there's been a little bit of that. But what I am upset about, and I'm going to use the word upset, is that there are people who are R&B lovers and country music, I'm using harsh words, haters, as in they do not listen to country music, never listen to country music. Country music sucks. Yeah. But this Beyonce song is fire. I love it. I'm about to start line dancing. I'm going to the country music clubs. I'm a country music fan now. And I'm like, hold on a second. I've been trying to expose y'all to country music for years now. You know?
That's not how this works. I don't know if anybody sent you the memo, but that's not how it works.
Yeah.
At least in my humble opinion. Take that for whatever it may be.
And why do you think that? Why do you feel that it doesn't work that way?
Because, look, I'm all for people can change. People can change their minds. That's totally fine. Have a reason to it. Have a why to it.
Yeah.
If you're going to be that die-hard of a person that so strongly dislikes a particular genre of music that when your favorite artist in your favorite genre of music decides she's going to make that style of music, now you like it. But, like, why?
Yeah. Were you really a vegetarian or no?
Me? Oh, yeah. Like, were you really? Like,
were you really a vegetarian?
Did you really hate country music?
Did you really hate country music?
You still actually hate country music.
Ooh,
but
you still actually hate country music.
Now you're just faking it because it's the cool thing to do.
Yeah. And maybe not even cool. It's maybe Beyonce will give me this moment, and then after that I won't have to worry about it. Yeah. And I think it's the other way around too. I think that for some reason country music fans don't like rap and hip hop, but I've seen so many country music artists cover R&B songs or do renditions of R&B songs, and most of the time I hear we don't like R&B or hip hop because of what it's talking about.
Right. But you get somebody in the right genre,
the little twang on it,
same thing.
So the same thing.
And they're totally
talk about drinking, smoking, my lady, and
that's fine. Love it. Totally A-okay with it.
So I wanted to. I didn't want to just stop here at my complaining, because number one, if you're listening to this, hopefully you're listening to this, because I talk about this stuff all the time. I actually have a song by Andy Mineo that I always let people listen to when they say, I always ask people, what kind of music you like? And typically I get the answer, oh yeah, I like everything country. They'll go down that path. Or it's oh yeah, I like everything but country. Andy Mineo has a song, everything but country. Always play it. Spoiler alert, it's a fantastic song, but it's a hip hop song. and it gives a bunch of country references. Absolutely. I love playing it because it's oh, that's a good song. Okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to give a little bit of history about music. Okay. Only because now the conversation I think that I'll have to have that I'll be forced to have because of this is that music derives from somewhere. Art always is picked up from somewhere. Business ideas, everything is picked up from somewhere. Like, for example, the electric guitar did not exist in medieval times. So it had to transform from something. You know, R&B the way it is today did not exist back when there was no instruments, you know?
Yeah.
So it had to come from somewhere. So, you know, like I think my most famous transformation happens to be country music. Okay. And I want to say this again. Everyone who knows me knows I'm a country music fan. And I do not hide it whatsoever.
No. And nor should you.
Yes, nor should I. Like, this year on my... Yes, why should I? Because bandwagon, societal pressures, all of this stuff.
Exactly.
I'm supposed
and
to
that bleeds into so much that we
things.
do. That bleeds into so much. And that's probably a million conversations for another day. But
haven't fully touched on it, but hopefully they're catching the vibe. All right. So country music. I did like I did research. I knew some of this before, but I wanted to validate it. So I did some research on this. Okay. And the roots of country music come from ballads. Okay. Like ballads is one thing. And ballads, this is crazy. The first colonists from the British, they brought over ballads. Okay. And I want to make sure that we listening to a couple terms because they are actually lineages from other places, or it gives you context on how it got here. So first colonist, from Britain, British brought ballads, and that was their storytelling. That was their entertainment style at the time. Okay.
Right.
Country music has a piece of that. Okay. The fiddle and the banjo, which I think a lot of people think about fiddle and banjo because country music was originally made as, you know, to its purest form, it's music of the country. Okay. Yes. That's all it is. It's just music of people in the country. People in the country had fiddle and banjos, but it was brought to America from immigrants. Immigrants weren't allowed everywhere. Okay. Immigrants, they brought this fretless neck and they brought it pretty much as slaves from Africa. Okay. When immigrants is used, I'm talking about way, way back. Immigrants in our literature today probably means a slave. Colonist means a settler. Okay. Mm-hmm. All righty. So the fiddle and the banjo came from, let's just call it slaves. Let's not say Africa because I'm sure some people would dispute that. And then we saw it kind of evolving into church music, whatever kind of church you're talking about. Church music, hymnals, or whatever it is, church music. Then it developed into parlor music, so music that was played in certain bars, and we start to get into the entertainment scene. We start to see people do like concerts rather than just like, you know, like I said, those ballads when it started out. It's the modernized version of that. So parlor music, you know, music maybe some people to dance to.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the most modernization of this was in the 1920s when the radio finally came around. And that's when it got its name of country music. Okay. And the closest relationship to that and renditions of that was from the blues.
Okay.
So, yes. So country music like goes all the way back of picking all these different kinds of things, but it like really was the blues. The blues came onto radio and we called it like music of the country music. So country music was actually, this is interesting because I said the 1920s. So it was like one of the first, and it's the only like music genre that still crossed a racial divide because like segregation was still a thing at that time. Like black people and white people weren't doing the same things.
Yeah, it was not
allowed.
And I was going to say it was frowned upon, but yes, both are accurate.
Yeah. So like
storied history with all that fun stuff.
I think that there's a lot to be said that there were recognized black people who were known for country music when typically you can't get recognition for doing something that white people did.
Yeah.
In those times.
I mean, at that point in time, you couldn't get recognition for basically being a human.
Exactly.
If you weren't a white person. I mean, it's
exactly. So
it's our history, unfortunately, and I hate it, but it's history. You can't erase it. We can only learn from it and move on. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's cool factoid about country music, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds to me like it was kind of like the original, like the OG music genre, and played a big part in joining the humans in general together.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think all music does that, which I love that about music. But like, yeah, I mean, I think it still should. And this is my hope, maybe that we're hopefully rounding this out. My hope is that this does cross the bridge rather than create a more divide.
Yes. I hope so too. It's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds with Beyonce and all of that. But I'm hopeful. So
I'm hopeful too. I'm gonna be convincing both sides. Yeah, I'm gonna be convincing both sides to listen to the other side's music. It's just crazy that there's sides to this, in my opinion. But I'm gonna be doing that. And I feel like the last time that we saw, I mean, I guess there has been like people over the years, so I won't do that. Like going back to Ray Charles was mentioned in this. I love Ray Charles. It's interesting seeing this list and people I love. Ray Charles, Justin Bieber. I'm not necessarily an Elvis fan, but I know that Elvis is in this genre because rock and roll, and he started with blues. Okay, that's something to note. And he was hated because he was known to like take black music and to make it whatever his own is, like kind of a rap that he got.
Yes,
Eminem is in that same boat. But I think it's like an opportunity. You know, it's strictly an opportunity for people to just see like, oh, this is what this genre is about, and I can ease into it this way.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's really how, like, both of those guys, like, well, all of them, like, they were groundbreaking in the types of music that they brought into the world, because they took what we had and shifted it just enough to make people uncomfortable and challenge people emotionally about who we are. And like, isn't that crazy about how music does that? It's music. It's notes on paper. It's just somebody singing a tune, singing words strung together to form sentences and lyrics. But these people specifically, they changed society.
Yeah.
By changing the way the music was played.
Yep.
That's power. That's powerful. So I'm hopeful that things like this can do that and bring us together.
Yeah. Are you gonna listen to Beyonce's album? Do you want me to send it to you when it comes out?
Yes,
please. I got you.
Thank you.
And I love that we trade music sometimes. Mainly, I feel like Nick D songs. Whenever Nick D comes out with something brand new, did you check out the Nick D song?
Yes. I love that guy. He's got good stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Can't have a bad day when you listen to Nick D. Like, you just can't.
You can't. Gosh. If you don't know who Nick D is, then you need to go check out Nick D. Okay.
You need to, and just save that playlist on Spotify. Listen to it until your little heart's content.
Which won't take long.
It won't take long. He spits true facts and good lyrics, and it makes you feel like you're getting a hug. Anyway,
that's all I got. I'm off my soapbox about that. I guess I want to leave with number one, listen to other music just in general. I go through these times where I listen to different kinds of rap. I listen to different kinds of country. I listen to different, like, you can listen to different music in your genre as well as outside of your genre, you know? And if it takes Beyonce to do that for you, if it takes Taylor Swift to come out of country music and go into pop, if it takes, you know, whatever it is, Justin Bieber to go from pop to Christian, like whatever it is, like listen to different music. Like, it's only going to make you and your life probably better, because you'll stumble upon something else that you probably also do like. You probably also like something else.
Yes. You will probably surprise yourself by liking something that you thought you wouldn't. But if you just give it a chance, stretch that emotional fabric, get a little bit uncomfortable, try the new thing, You never know. You might enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Cool. Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope that this journey takes you on another journey. And that's On the Bandwagon Effect.
Yay!
See you next week.
Ciao. And that's on that, guys. Don't forget, anonymously or otherwise, we want to hear from you. Make sure you reach out to us at that'sonThatEpisode@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter/X. Our handles there is the same. It's at that'sonThatPod. We'll be posting episodes weekly, and we'll have some pop-up solo episodes here and there as stuff pops up in our own lives. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Thank you again for tuning in. We hope you stick around and enjoy this journey with us. That's on that. We'll see you next week.